Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, WWE introduces a new belt. Roderick Strong is All Elite, and ya boys here on BFR are going to have our own WWE draft. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. Did you hear that guy yell? I think we have a live fan.
I think so. I just didn't hear what he said. I just heard somebody yell something.
He said, there we go. Nick said 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. They gotta work the sparks, they just remove them while all hell diners work the hell in the cells. Rally around the family, job is full of shells. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
I feel like I should be like bobbing my head at this fanboy and this motherfucker.
You know what song that's from?
Zach LaRocha.
Bulls on
I was about to say Rage Against the Machine is one of my favorite fucking bands of all time. It's a band I don't think most people would suspect I would even know, but I do love them so. They make me feel like I can...
Yeah, but so disappointing that they're like on that woke agenda now.
Yeah, man. I just hate, man. Like, it's like they're so woke.
How dare they?
Never thought. They're the last band I ever thought would be woke.
Yeah, man. I can't stand that woke shit.
On that level, you know, of being woke, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 305, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. We're going to do a WWE draft. I just found out about like 10 minutes ago, so it should be interesting. I got to fuck with you about it. It's just the way we do it at BFR. We don't plan a lot of shit. We just do it.
I thought it would be fun. You know, and out there in Portland, Oregon, we have... Now, I understand he has a new nickname. We have Zach Pullman. What's going on, Zach?
BFR West of the house.
Oh, man. It is finally like the best part of the year in Portland. Cherry blossoms are happening. It's sunny. There's no rain. I've got my brand new Weber grill that my wife and kids bought me, like best birthday present I've ever had. Upgraded me from my old Weber grill. I'm a charcoal griller. That shit's going right now. So, yeah, I mean, really, it's literally heating up.
So I said that you have a new nickname, and you started telling Jason and I a story beforehand, and I said, stop. Save it for the pod. So why don't you tell us about your experience going to see John Wick 4 with your beautiful son?
Yeah, I guess I do have a new nickname because I went to the theater. It was, you know, $5 Tuesday, which is now $5.75 Tuesday. Like, thanks, Biden. But
how dare they?
Roll the fuck up!
It's unbelievable. So I go to the concessions and I get a 19 2-ounce can because I don't trust draft beer in a movie theater. And
I hear that.
19 2-ounce can. And they give me a bracelet and they're like, okay, this is your first. You have a limit of 3. And I'm like, if I drink 3 beers in a movie theater, well, apparently I do. Because John Wick 4 was awesome, and it was also 3 hours long, and it was much better on my 3rd beer. So go see John Wick 4, drink 3 beers, treat yourself.
I'm really happy to hear that this week you went and saw it in theater, and it was a fairly packed theater, because that means, and I don't want to spoil anything, and I won't, but that means that we might get a John Wick 5, because if it's making this much money, something tells me that they're gonna keep it going.
I think they're shot concurrently, actually.
I thought there was going to be a 5 regardless of what was going to happen.
They said they were going to, and then they decided against it, from what I read. But, you know what?
Well, they better not. I'm going to be real mad.
We are coming at you from a beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. Bo is afraid Geeseman is going to be here in just a little bit. He stopped at the dispensary, is what he said.
My boy.
Yeah. There's some stuff to talk about this week. I thought that, listen, I know Jason's fucking with me. I don't mind being fucked with. I just thought it'd be fun to have a mock WWE draft. And here are the rules. We're going to have snake style, so someone's going to go first, someone's going to go second. Whoever goes third gets 2 picks in a row, and then we go back to the other person, and back to they get 2 picks in a row, blah, blah, blah.
That means they could pick both members of Pretty Deadly.
Look at you, giving away all their trade secrets.
There are no tag teams, and you can pick men or women. You are trying to make the best show, and we are going to have 10 wrestlers apiece. We are going to put those lists up on at BFR Pod and Friends of BFR on Facebook, and you're going to vote to see whose show you would like to watch the most.
So we can't have the vaunted tag team of Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, the established and utterly perfect, symbolic.
Really, the idea behind not having tag teams is like if you took the tag team champions right now, they might be the first pick overall, because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, that you're getting 2 for 1. Or if you took the Usos can headline they could headline a pay-per-view, but one by themselves, who knows, Do you want to split them up? That's what's happening. If you take Jey Uso, you have to hope that Jimmy Uso is around on the next round. That's all I'm saying. It's not scientific. It's just semi-scientific. By the way, my dog. So my wife is out of town. I woke up this morning, and I was like, Reba, I'm going to have to leave you here today all by yourself, which Reba doesn't get left alone very often. She's a big baby. And I said, don't worry, Jason's coming tonight. And her head popped up when I said Jason. She was like, oh, Jason's coming? And she was like, woo, woo. And I was like, no, he's not here right now, you fucking hornball. Fuck, I know. I couldn't believe it. She's so horny for Jason. But
at least one woman is.
I was talking to Herbst. I was talking to me and Jason's buddy Herbst when Jason walked in. And Reba started barking. And I was like, yeah, Jason's here. And I was like, man, Reba loves Jason. And he goes, your dog loves black people? And I was like, yeah. It's like his favorite person in the world.
That's fucking horrible, dude. Fuck you, Herbs.
Let's get to that 3 count.
I'm such a slow, not even slow, but just low-hanging fruit for just jokes everywhere.
Jason, what's the 1 count? You kick it off, baby.
Let's talk about, since we're going to do bookends on WWE, let's talk about arguably the biggest story of the week, regardless of promotion, federation, whatever you want to call it. Triple H announces a new second, or if you want to be technical, a third championship, World Heavyweight Championship belt. I guess it's going to be called the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. There will be some sort of tournament style matches leading up to the Night of Champions. I believe that it would be in Saudi Arabia, aka Saudi Mania in my head. Night of Champions, they will crown the inaugural WWE heavyweight champion. Guys that I think off the top of my head should be in consideration in no particular order: Sheamus, Gunther, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre if he gets his contract shit together.
Cody.
No.
I'm just saying he'll be in the tournament.
I don't think he needs to even be in the tournament. I think Cody needs to have his own story separate from the WWE Championship, and this is why I say this. If Cody wins the WWE, this new title, everybody will just say this is a consolation prize, and that's not his story. His story is to beat Roman Reigns. If he wins this, then it's kind of like, okay, he's a champ, but it still feels like it's unfinished. So you can't have him even in this tournament. You have to have him singularly focused on Brock Lesnar first, Roman Reigns afterwards.
Riddle.
Outside chance.
Solo.
So Sikoa is, I would say, more so than Matt Riddle at this point. Riddle's, if you just want to play it in kayfabe style. Matt Riddle has lost to Solo Sikoa twice.
It really
flat out.
It really depends on how big the tournament is. Because
let's just go 8 guys.
Okay. Then we pretty much named them all.
Okay.
Probably. Finn Balor.
Yeah. They teased that this week. So, I mean, ultimately, this solves the biggest problem, how we were going to split the titles. We're just not. We're just going to make a second title. Completely fair. I don't have a problem with it. Splitting the titles would feel like you would have to to me, you would have had to have Cody win. And once they didn't do that, this was the next best option. So now you can still have Roman Reigns march to 1,000 days and play that storyline. And then on the back end, you can start a whole new lineage with an inaugural WWE World Heavyweight Champion, whoever that may be, and go that route. For me, I don't see anything, unless you just really want to see Roman Reigns lose. I don't see any negatives about creating a second title.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
This just cements to me that they plan on having Roman go much longer than I think any of us had anticipated. So I do agree with Jason that I don't think Cody is the right fit because it just doesn't quite feel like finishing the story. And even I don't even know if Cody was ever going to do it at this point if he didn't do it then. After he lost, I kind of actually assumed that it might be Seth. So if I had to go with an early pick for this title, I think I might pick Seth Rollins, and then we can talk about a Triple Crown championship at WrestleMania 40.
Oh God! So you want to consolidate? You want to consolidate all three belts?
Dude, come on, man.
I don't wanna. I don't want to. But I'm just saying.
Come on,
that
man. Come on, man.
I don't want to. I do appreciate the fact that they gave us another belt because we've been screaming for it, especially because Triple H said in storyline, hey, this is good for Roman Reigns, but it ain't good for WWE. And it's like, no shit, dude. Like, that's what we've been talking about. Like, we've been screaming, like, the last, like, three contenders, major contenders, like Drew and then Sammy and then Cody. Everybody's just screaming for a title change just for something different, for some new opponents. And at least now we get a world championship where we can have some fresh matchups that don't involve the same booking method of interference and, you know, like the House of Torture / Bloodline.
Whoa. Easy, big fella. Easy. Yeah, my ass. My ass. Name the last good House of Torture match you saw.
No, I won't.
Oh,
Okay, because you can't.
Booking style, yeah.
I didn't say, but
even booking style, you can still say the matches are good.
Yeah, but it's all. I mean, having a WrestleMania match end with bullshit is. I don't know if it's House of Torture shit, but it is kind of bullshit. Like I think that's what Zach was saying. If I disagree with both of you.
Yeah.
When I saw this, I was like. You guys are fucking pussies. I was like, this is pussy shit. This is because there seems to be some kind of rumblings that Roman wasn't comfortable with giving up the belt to Cody on WrestleMania. And to keep Roman happy, they are going to just make a new title. So all those conversations, and this might be the problem. That's Bo. Just stop. This
See, she don't like white people.
She don't like white people. That's right. So this is pussy shit to me because this means that instead of making the decision, all those conversations that everybody's had about who's going to take the belts off Roman, is it going to be Seth? Is it going to be Cody? The answer is nobody. Nobody's going to nobody is actually going to beat Roman for this belt. They're going to keep the belt on Roman. They're just going to make a whole nother belt. That is weak to me. That means that they just didn't want to actually make a booking decision. They didn't want to actually make any hard decisions, so they just created another belt for it. Now, in the end, long-term storytelling, it's not going to matter because it is going to have fresh matchups. It is going to be a second belt. But then why didn't they just have Roman lose one of the belts and he's carried one? So one belt he's carried for, however long they want to have him do it, 4,000 days or whatever, having him wrestle. And, he negotiated so he didn't have to defend it that often. That is booking in reverse. That is booking shit and then making shit up at the end of the booking to not have to do all the booking in the beginning. So you can just completely erase all this time where Roman didn't have to defend it once every 30 days, have Roman not have to lose it, and still create another belt. It's weak, it's tired, and I don't like it. That being said, Can't wait for the tournament.
I guess you can consider it as a weak move, but it's a move that needed to be made, number one. And number two, I think the biggest problem is they booked themselves in the corner where they couldn't logically come up with a scenario where Roman can be stripped of a title or Roman gives up a title voluntarily. So this was the next best move. If you want to call it weak, okay, totally fair. I don't have a problem with that. I can see why you do that. The problem with this now, I shouldn't say the problem with this, you still have the question of who beats Roman, regardless if there's a second title or not. There's a lot of people, I guess, forget that there's been two titles for so long, for a very, very long time, with Raw and SmackDown. Roman's had the title, been dual champion for, basically a calendar year, 1,000 days, being the WWE champion or whatever the case may be. Okay, so be it. But there's still always been a time where there's been two champions. We're just going back to that. So I don't understand what the big deal about who's going to beat Roman is not valid anymore. It's totally valid because he hasn't been beaten. Somewhere down the line.
It's not as valid.
Somewhere down the line, somebody is going to have to beat Roman Reigns, and it's going to be a big fucking deal, and we'll lead BFR with it. So let's not sit up here and try to poo-poo it now.
Not as big of a deal.
Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here,
I think it should be Seth. I'm throwing my early hat in. I think it should be Seth.
That should beat Roman Reigns?
Yep.
Well, the thing is, after Triple H announced that this new belt was coming, Seth went out and said, Roman still hasn't beat me. Like, Seth still went out and said, so I think that we're heading towards a Seth-Roman showdown at SummerSlam, probably, hopefully. And this other thing, when I said Cody, I thought that it would be interesting to have Cody versus Seth at Night of Champions. By the way, they're crowning this new champion in Saudi Arabia. Not a big fan of that either.
Like I said, Saudi Mania, baby.
You shouldn't be crowning the WWE champion at noon in America. Call me a patriot. If that's what you want to call me, don't tread on me. Tread on my balls. Tread on my face. I'm a coward. But don't tread on me. Tread on the other guys.
That should be the new BFR shirt. Tread on my balls.
No, whoa.
BFR Bill.
That's not my joke. My brother said that to some dude on Facebook, some crazy right winger. My brother photoshopped a "Don't tread on me," but it said "Don't tread on me, but tread on my balls, tread on my face. I am a weakling. I am a coward. Tread on the other guy."
I see Jake's making friends as usual.
He's a pretty funny dude.
No, he's funny as fuck. Yeah, that should be a good time. I'll just say this. I don't have if it's going to be at Night of Champions, obviously it's going to be fair enough, okay? But it's going to be must-see TV. Roman's probably going to defend. The Women's Championship's going to be defended. So, I mean, it's going to be a big fucking deal. It's a huge cash cow. And we talked about it when they did it the last time. It's bigger than WrestleMania. So they're going to get a great show no matter what. When you get more money from the Saudi show than from WrestleMania, you ain't bringing out the B- show. You getting everybody and anybody that they want.
Yeah, I mean, you got Goldberg on the line at any time. So, Zach, let me ask you a question here, because when Triple H came out, I'm assuming you saw the promo, Zach?
Yeah.
When Triple H came out, he said, you're going to get a champion that doesn't demand your acknowledgement. He's going to earn your acknowledgement. Did it kind of seem like Triple H was taking a dig at Roman Reigns, either in kayfabe or shoot? Like, that's what it kind of seemed like to me.
I think, well, ultimately this is Triple H's call, regardless. So I think it's more in kayfabe where he's acknowledging the fans and trying to win goodwill, because they know that they fucked us over and over and just really sucked the goodwill, because that was the thing for years, right? Since we started this podcast, that was the thing. WWE had no goodwill, right? It wasn't about necessarily just the booking or the wrestling or anything like that. They had no goodwill towards the fans. They've been hot lately, and they've built up a lot of momentum, and they had some goodwill, and they're sucking it out by having Reigns win over and over. So I think he was just acknowledging that. I think it was kind of an acquiescence to the fans.
Jason, what do you think about what I just proposed as an idea? Did that cross your mind while you were watching it?
Yeah, because, I mean, when you say acknowledge in WWE's world, there's one person you're talking about. So, I mean, you know, the way I took it, I'm agreeing with Zach. To me, it was a kayfabe move. It was just so it would be like, you know, this is why we're making this move. We just can't have one champion being acknowledged and not the way you want to acknowledge said champion. You want the every 30 days this champion is going to defend the title against somebody. That's old school. A lot of people throw that against Roman Reigns. I get that. I will just say he had, in reality, he did have leukemia. Granted, he beat it, but that means his immune system is compromised, so he can't be around a bunch of people all the goddamn time.
That's like the only thing that can beat him these days.
Okay. So at that point, that's the only thing that I would say as a defense to Roman Reigns for people that are saying he should defend every 30 days. Maybe it's best that he doesn't have to. So now,
well, it's just weird because they book him like a Bruno or like a Hogan, and that was a different era, man. We just ain't in that era anymore.
Okay, so now you got the best of both worlds. You're going to have a champion in a month from now that's going to probably defend every month. That feels like a Seth Rollins kind of guy to me. And then you have the other champion, the guy that everybody's waiting to get, unless you're a Roman Reigns guy, the guy that you're waiting to get bumped off, see Floyd Mayweather. Love me some Floyd, and I love the fact that everybody wanted to see Floyd get bumped off, and that's just what made it even much more special because he never did.
What do you guys think about the design of the belt? Can you talk about that?
It kind of reminds me, Big Gold meets UFC meets the current WWE Championship. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
I gotta be me. I don't give a shit. Like, I look like everybody talks about how a belt looks, and like it looked fine to me. Like, it looked like an old WCW belt to me. Like just big and gold, but I mean, I put almost no thought into that at all.
No, I won't look at it. I mean, shit.
I know. Well, we've talked about this.
I don't care how she looks.
I'm a belt guy.
You been talking to those girls that I lived in the dorms with in college? I forgot what else I was going to say.
Hell no, dog.
So we're gonna get to the draft in a little bit, but before we get to the draft, just some other really highlights. Looks like we're getting Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny in a singles match. I say, good for Damian Priest. He's earned it. No, I really do. Judgment Day all got their big WrestleMania matches, and Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny. Obviously, they're actually boys. And I would rather see Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny in a one-on-one match than seeing another 3-on-3 match or tag team match that means nothing.
Okay, you're being serious. All right, I was waiting for the joke there.
I'm completely being serious. I think that Damian Priest has done really good work over the last year. He's not my favorite, but I don't hate him at all, and I think that he's good at what he does. And obviously, Bad Bunny and him, like I said, they get along. They had the match together last year at WrestleMania, or maybe 2 years ago. It's hard to say.
2 years feels right.
But I'm happy for Damian Priest to get a one-on-one match with Bad Bunny. Because Bad Bunny. By the way, this is the Bad Bunny is a megastar. I know it sounds stupid every time they bring it up on WWE, but like I did a quick Wikipedia search. I'm like, holy shit, like this guy's a big fucking deal, and he's a big fucking deal in Puerto Rico, and this is probably the largest.
He's a bigger star than anybody in WWE.
Easily.
And this is probably of all the celebrity involvement that they've had, this is probably the biggest one. I mean, he might headline that show. I don't know if he's going to. It'd probably be Cody and Brock.
I would. It's either with Brock, it's first to last. So I mean,
yeah,
I would. Man, if I had to do it,
but Bad Bunny's not going to be first. That's for sure.
I don't see why wouldn't he be, but it's Is it going to be that big of a deal?
It's in Puerto Rico.
I get it, man. I'm just saying, why not start the show off with a bang? Priest and Bad Bunny does not scream main event to me. Cody and Brock screams main event to me.
Zach, what do you think?
I mean, ultimately, I think that would have been a bigger match with Cody having the title. But at the same time, I do think Cody Brock will be the main, and then Bad Bunny Priest will be the semi-main.
I can go with that too.
You said props to Priest, which I agree with, but also props to Bad Bunny. He proved himself 2 years ago at WrestleMania that he can do this, and he can have a singles match.
Yeah,
good for him, because I thought this was going to be a tag. I was booking that tag match, weeks ago. I was saying hey, we're going to have Bad Bunny and Ray versus Priest and Dom, and now it looks like that's not going to be the case. So I mean, dude, you got to have a lot of faith in somebody to put him in a singles match on a big show like that. That's Logan Paul levels of appreciation from WWE.
Buddy. I was thinking that when he was getting ready to set up the match, I'm like, man, if this is going to be a singles match, this is going to be Bad Bunny's basically his debut. I don't care what he did with Priest is one thing. Priest can kind of protect him when need be, and I would assume Priest would lead him through this singles match in Puerto Rico. But this is a chance for Bad Bunny to put him on par with Pat McAfee, approach the Logan Paul level, because everybody, I would assume, we all still agree that Logan Paul is the standard bearer when it comes to celebrity wrestling and appearances, how they looked. He can at least creep up into that stratosphere. We'll see what happens.
Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul, WrestleMania 45, main event. Book it. We're also getting Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed in a Bill Vagey special, a fucking triple threat for the U.S. Championship. I got to tell you guys, looking forward to this match. I am looking forward to this match, and I expect Bronson Reed to win. Just letting you know, another match I'm looking forward to is Seth freaking Rollins versus Wrestler of the Year candidate, Omos. What do you think about this, Jason?
Considering that this is a audio media, and I don't want to throw some dead air out there, I'll just simply say this.
Thank you for appreciating the media.
The fact that they are even trying to make this a thing feels like they're insulting my intelligence. There is no reason on God's green earth that we should be having this. This is WrestleMania all over again. I get it. It's WrestleMania Backlash, but it's about the spectacle. Can Seth Rollins stomp this big-ass Nigerian 7-foot monster? That's all we're here for. Nobody thinks that Omos is going to win. So we gonna put something down on it, or we gonna go just keep speaking? We gonna put something down on it? Okay. Now that being said, nobody thinks that Omos is going to win, so this is your spectacle match and nothing more. The fact that you're trying to make this a thing is inexcusable. They didn't even have contact, and then all of a sudden, this match just magically pops up.
You just talk to me like Denzel talks to Viola Davis in Fences.
I'm just saying, either we gonna put something down on it, or let me continue to speak. God damn it! Shit. That's all I'm saying. This is just to give both guys something to do.
I'll stand down. What do you think, Zach?
Can't
wait for the picks. Cannot wait for the picks.
I'm approaching the scenario of being a newly minted Homo sapien.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we go.
I'm riding that wave, baby. The tide is turning.
I can't wait to see Omos and Toriano beat Aussie Open for the tag belts. Just can't wait to see it. Sounds spectacular.
I feel like that comment was uniquely created to trigger Jason.
You think?
I'm just trying to get.
You think?
He dropped his microphone. He's smoking weed. He's shaking his head, and I said it just to have him pick his microphone back up. The podcast can't exist without you, baby. Pick the microphone back up.
I think it's done it a couple of times on record, but neither here nor there.
All right.
The fact that you even said that just makes me know that you're just trying to piss me off even more. Let's move along, please.
Work rate 10 out of 10. Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2,
Two beer. What's the 2 count? I'm going to guess and say we're going to go with AEW.
Well, here's the thing. That's typical, right?
So
and
you see what happened was.
News. But yeah, you see what happened was there was a fantastic Stardom show. So do you guys want to do the Stardom show and the 2 count or in the odds and ends? Did Bill get to watch it? That's the main question.
Come on. Come on now. You know that motherfucker didn't watch that shit. Okay. That bad boy was easily 5 hours from start to finish.
It was 5 hours and 11 minutes.
Okay. So I'm just going to politely say that he didn't watch it.
All right. Well, we'll cover it on the
odds and ends. Or you can listen to the Phoenix Splash podcast, number 7, where we talk about it the night of, a few hours afterwards, but neither here nor there.
That's some good shit.
Hey.
I'm going to have to listen to that.
I'm here for you, brother.
So let's go with AEW, typical 2 count.
Did we talk about Punk arriving at Raw?
No.
Okay.
No, so I feel like maybe we lead with that.
No, wait,
and
hang on. Tom Brady's coming in. It looks like he's going to make an audible here.
Hold on a second. I was pissing. So you guys were talking about Stardom for a minute?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I watched the Mercedes Moné match. It's hard for me to watch something in the background that's not in English.
That's cool.
Just because it's like...
You didn't have English commentary?
Not on watchwrestling.in.
He doesn't have your password. I watched it on Jason's account.
I didn't even. Fuck. No, I didn't even think about it. No, I didn't. So that would have made more sense.
For the record, they did have English commentary, obviously
on NJPW World.
No. It was
on Stardom World.
It was Stardom World. When I bought it, it had the option of English or Japanese commentary.
Is it Kevin Kelly?
It was Chris.
No, it was Chris Charlton, and he did a really fucking good job.
Oh, okay. My bad.
He was awesome.
No, you just didn't know.
I didn't know that. I tried, but my thought was I'm watching in the background, and I'm also like doing work, and like it's like I can't really tell what's going on. But okay, so my bad. The other thing was I should have said this prior to the show. It feels like CM Punk's trying to play the entire internet wrestling community like a fiddle, and I was going to try to buck that by not talking about him this podcast. I didn't bring that up. If you guys want to talk about him, we can. I just think that he's I'm just sick of talking about this motherfucker.
I'm fine with that too.
Move along, 2 beer. I'm sorry, 3 beer.
We can talk about it 3 beer if you want to.
No, that's fine.
No,
I'm
3
on
beers
5 beers right now, so we'll skip it.
5 beer. What are we talking about?
No,
now?
3 beers is his new name. It's 3 beer.
It's 3 beer. Fair enough.
My new EP is about to be released as FPB. Fuck Phil Brooks. Anyway.
No, so I'm gonna tell Bo because Bo missed it and Bo's chiming in. Do you want a microphone? We call him 3 beer now because he went and saw John Wick 4 with his 14-year-old son, and they told him when he bought a beer at the concession stand they have a limit of 3, and he was like, "Who can have 3 beer?" He's like, "Who drinks 3 beers in the movies?" And then he drank 3 beers during John Wick 4. All right, go ahead, Zach.
I wish that those were my first beers too, but I had already had 2 before I got there.
Yeah, we know. We know, dude. Like
already.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta explain it to us, brother.
We got it.
Yep. All right. So, opens the show on Dynamite. Orange Cassidy beating Bandito to retain this AEW International title. Got to be honest, I thought this was the night for the challenger. They even opened with Bandito, like a highlight reel for Bandito, and this was a solid match. There were some long wrestling matches on the show, which was cool, and this was one of them. Or at least they felt long. I didn't like time them or anything, but when I was watching it, I was like, man, these guys are like really like putting on a show here. But pretty excellent opener. Really fun stuff from both Cassidy and Bandito, kind of a greatest hits of their move sets. And we kind of just continue the storyline of Orange Cassidy overcoming adversity and being, one of the most dominating champions in AEW history, and just defending this title like pretty much every single week, which is excellent. I love that. I talked about I think whenever Jason and I had the podcast alone, we were like, oh, who's gonna beat Cassidy for this? And I couldn't come up with anything, and I said Adam Cole's a knee-jerk reaction. I'm thinking now, maybe, and this is maybe just pie in the sky, high hopes for me, but Takeshita would be a fantastic All-Atlantic champion to overcome Orange Cassidy for this. Maybe he already challenged, and I can't remember because Orange Cassidy does so much challenges. But, yeah, this was a super fun match to open the show.
I love the match. Orange Cassidy has certainly done his best. They've booked this belt correctly. He is making the belt mean something with all these great matches that he's really having. I mean, this Bandito match was must watch. The crowd was completely into it. Having to be the curtain jerker was a smart idea. I thought that Bandito was going to go over. Of course, he did not, but the near falls, I bought into most of the near falls. Orange Cassidy is still selling injuries from previous matches, which I really, really appreciate. And I just wrote something down while I was watching this match. I wrote one-armed because Bandito put Orange Cassidy over his head and then took one of his arms off and was holding Orange Cassidy up with one arm, basically around his stomach area, like around his, his waistline, his belt line. And it was pretty fucking impressive, man. I mean, really impressive.
Bandito has it all. He can do the flip, and he's got amazing core strength. Like, he's super powerful. Former ROH world champ. Like, that's why I thought that maybe he would be the guy to take it, because he's such an impressive pro wrestler.
Jason, what you think?
The one-armed is a good segue. It was that, but beforehand he did the Brian Cage suplex where Orange Cassidy was on the outside and he's suplexing on the from outside in, and he did that one-armed as well. That was before the one-armed power slam. Neither here nor there. I said it on Twitter. I'll stick to it now. Pound for pound, Bandito is probably one of the best wrestlers in the world, hands down. And I think it just came out once again this time around. I'm not like you guys. I never thought that he was going to win this title. I just, in the back of my mind, I just knew that somehow, some way, Orange Cassidy was going to pull this out. And it's not a knock against Orange Cassidy. I like Orange Cassidy, like what he's done with this run. To me, it just felt like it was another name on the Orange Cassidy list of fallen contenders that makes him and the title look good. The future Bandito, questioned. ROH seems like the best place for him because he would feel like a much more of a bigger star. Obviously, like you said, former ROH champion, and I think he can go over there right now and be a headline guy. In AEW, he feels more like Commander than he is Bandito. That's just me.
I have a hard time disagreeing with that. If Dynamite's going to be your premier show, if that's going to be your flagship, and it's an American audience, then you pretty much have room for a couple lucha style wrestlers that wear masks, and that's pretty much all the bandwidth that you have for masked wrestlers. That's not me saying that I don't like watching Bandito. I'd watch an entire show with Jalistico, Vikingo, who doesn't wear a mask, obviously, but
Lucha Brothers.
Bandito, the Lucha Brothers. I would watch an entire show with the Commander. I'd watch the entire show with those guys. But if you're dealing with an American audience, and this is the argument against having Takeshita hold a belt, is that he doesn't speak English. That is certainly something to keep in mind. WWE had a problem with that when Jinder Mahal was the champion, because he didn't speak English, and everybody had a real big problem with it. Wait, did Jinder Mahal speak English?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
He got that Nakamura promo. I was like, what the fuck did he just say? Man, rewind that shit. Hold up. No, that motherfucker did not just say that shit. No, he can speak English.
He speaks like Punjabi or something.
No,
right?
he can speak motherfucker, no. He speaks English.
Really?
Yes, he cut a
Jinder
Nakamura.
Mahal?
Yes, he cut a Nakamura promo that was kind of risque to say the least.
I've never heard Jinder Mahal utter a word of English. I think I saw him on that movie RRR. I think he's a Bollywood guy, but I mean, if you guys say so, that's fine.
No, he definitely could talk
He's
English.
about as good as hiding, or he's about as good at speaking English as he was at hiding a steroid use. So.
You ain't shit.
You know, you guys told me at WrestleMania that I was racist.
I'm sorry.
And that's it. That's all he said. There's no follow-up.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
I know that Jinder Mahal's from Toronto. I love Jinder Mahal. I've heard interviews with him. It's a joke, you guys.
They said that to me at WrestleMania.
At a dinner.
I'm dead.
Moving forward, we got Renee Paquette backstage with Darby Allin and Jungle Boy. This is the first of two Four Pillars promos where I thought the guys were going to kiss. Like, there was like legitimate like tension between these guys as they were respecting each other hard. But yeah, it was like baby face on baby face, and also like a little bit of like banter. But yeah, I thought they were going to kiss.
That's my Pornhub search bar is respect me hard. Is there anything out there that says respect me hard?
Jesus Christ. Here we go. It's starting to go left. He ain't even hit weed yet.
No, I haven't.
So we can talk about this moving on because the show was kind of just about this, so we can move on. But we had Jeff Jarrett beating Dax Harwood, and I saw this match coming up, and I'm like, do I need to see this? And then, like, it happened, and I was like, wow, it was fucking awesome. Like, they had, like, a pretty good – they had, like, a long match, and it was, like, really good. It was, like, old school, like, wrestling, like, stiff, lovely. Of course, there was Jeff Jarrett, so there was some interference towards the end. But it was.
Before I chime in, Jason is shaking his head. I want to hear Jason's thoughts, and then I'll tell you which one of you I agree with. Go ahead, Jason.
Same old bullshit. We talk about House of Torture, talk about Bloodline, Jeff Jarrett. You can throw that in that same old bullshit category. The fuckery was going to happen. When they stopped Sanjay and Saddam Singh, Jay Lethal at the top of the ramp, I said it right then. I was like, man, one of these jokers are going to come back. It's just how they get back down to the ring. So if you want to talk about these other two that are the same formula, this group is the same formula, and it's not getting anybody over. I mean, do we really want to see another Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal tag team match against FTR? I personally just don't. I thought Jeff Jarrett was coming here to do backstage shit. He's getting more shit. He's getting more time than Ricky fucking Starks. So you explain that shit to me and make it make sense.
I don't know. It was entertaining television. That's the only thing I can say. I don't disagree with you in theory, but in practice, like, I enjoyed what I saw. That's all I can say.
Go ahead, Mr. Sidebreaker.
I like this match.
I know you did. I know you did.
This is pretty good.
Jesus Christ Almighty.
I like Dax Harwood's. I mean, Dax Harwood's all about being like old school, and this was an old school style match. When they punched each other, and they were both on jelly.
Oh yeah, those punches. God love Jeff Jarrett.
You don't like wrestling.
No, I like wrestling. I just like to think from time to time you might want to start pushing the right guys over. It's been a while since we talked about Ricky Starks since he beat Chris Jericho. Now, all of a sudden, he's a fucking sideshow partner to Shawn Spears. Get the fuck out of here. That doesn't even make sense. Jeff Jarrett is getting a stronger push than Ricky Starks right now.
I don't understand why a Jeff Jarrett conversation, conversation about Jeff Jarrett versus Dax Harwood, has turned into a Ricky Starks conversation. Like, what does that have to do with anything? We're not talking about Ricky Starks. We're not talking about what they could have done. We're talking about what they did. We're talking about Dax Harwood versus Jeff Jarrett. And
the same shit they did do with everything with Jeff Jarrett. So there you go. That's my comment. You happy now? Same shit.
Was it a fun match?
I could have told you. I told you. You can look at my Twitter line. I was telling you what was going to happen.
Wrestling Twitter is toxic.
Okay, that's fine.
And friends,
neither here nor there. I can bring it up right now. You can look at it. I told right then, fuckery is going to happen. How we get there,
Jason,
I don't know.
I don't have to look up your Twitter feed because I know that you're not a liar. Why would you lie about this? So I believe you if you tell me. I don't have to look it up. I believe you that you were pissed off about it while it was happening. Didn't piss me off while I was watching it.
Fair enough.
All right, what's next, Zach?
All right, what was next? Let me take a look.
Oh, it was Tony Khan.
Tony Khan. Oh, yeah. So we got the Owen Hart Cup. That's the big announcement for Tony Khan. One of the few things that he could have announced.
Tony Khan looked like a 12-year-old who took too much Adderall. He's like, welcome to Dynamite. It's so much fun, everybody. Here we go. Owen Hart's beautiful widow has given us the permission to...
Jesus Christ.
Dude, I give him the benefit of the doubt. Here's the thing.
Just eat something,
like
dude. You should eat something. Just have him eat something. Can he eat something?
Yeah. Hey, boss, you want to stop doing that line to come over here and get something to eat?
Yeah,
no?
Man, stop storing the Adderall and the Percocet together and just fucking get in front of the camera.
No, that is damn sure ain't going to happen.
Says the guy who does 2.99s before every single podcast.
I don't like billionaires in general. I do give him the benefit of the doubt because I am 99% sure this dude is autistic, and he also is obviously like terrified to be on camera. Every single time he's on camera, he's just like jacked to the gills. And I'm not saying he doesn't do blow, because I mean, if I was a billionaire that owned a wrestling company, you can be damn sure that I'd be almost killing myself every day, probably.
I'm not a billionaire or autistic. I went to fish though, and I fucked around.
I just feel like he is like, he's probably on the spectrum, and he hates being on camera, which I appreciate, because he could have made himself a character over the last 3 years, and he doesn't, except for these big announcements.
I do appreciate that he has held off on being an on-screen character. That is good. He says he doesn't want to be Vince McMahon in the Attitude Era, and I do appreciate that. This is probably a big announcement for him, and I'm sure that he wants to do he wants to give as much credit to the Owen Hart family that he can, because the Owen Hart family giving AEW the Owen Hart name to have the tournament and everything is probably a big deal to him.
Well, and they're doing the finals in Calgary on the 15th, which is a Saturday, which leads us into the Saturday show. They're probably going to have a Saturday show starring CM Punk or the unnamed person that we're.
No, I mean we could say his name. I just don't want to do a whole 15 minutes about him, because we obviously could, and then it would just be us.
We do the same 15 minutes every week until May, whenever they announce that he's back.
Right, exactly. And I don't want to do that. It's our show. We can talk about it if you guys want to. I just don't want to talk about it.
Who's your early contender for the Owen Hart Cup?
So Adam Cole.
I think they just re-up.
Yeah,
I think they just re-up.
I think Adam Cole wins it again.
Adam Cole and Britt Baker. I think they both win it. It's just like the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
I mean, no. I mean, I would rather them just go a different route. If you want to go Takeshita on the men's side, fair enough. Women's side,
Takeshita is clearly
it's somebody that they have plans for.
Takeshita is he's clearly on the verge of breaking out. They have big things for him, as we'll get to later. But yeah, Takeshita would be a great one.
Yep.
Just women's
especially
side.
International, because they really like to.
I think it would be perfect.
Owens New Japan run.
Maybe Switchblade.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that would be a second choice. I think, but I'm with you on this. I think Switchblade doesn't need to be the winner of the Owen Hart tournament, even though he does have New Japan ties. almost getting ready to start talking myself into this, but I'm not. I'm going to stick with Takeshita, but we can go Jay White as a number 2 on the women's side.
I love it. I love it when it's just uncut Jason just right into your brain. You're like, I'm trying to talk myself into it. I'm not going to. No, I'm sticking with it.
No. You said I was a man of conviction, so I'm going to stick to that conviction.
You are. Anton Chigurh.
Willow Nightingale would be my pick for the women's side. I think
that's a good one.
She's another that could be is right on the cusp, but just needs a little.
I watched a little
top.
Ring of Honor from last week, and they talk up Willow Nightingale real big over on Ring of Honor, which is cool. I think that she's a worthy.
Isn't Taya Valkyrie Canadian?
Yeah, but I'll wait to hold my thoughts on that once we get to Taya.
Yeah, we got her coming up.
All right, so then we had Renee Paquette backstage with Sammy Guevara. This is the second of 2 instances where I thought the 4 pillars would kiss. And really, for this one, I thought it was going to be on accident because, first of all, I am really bummed that we only get 2 more weeks of Sammy Guevara and MJF because I think they could have ran this for like 6 or 8. Those guys are so good together. This was so fun. Just a fun little segment. And there was a segment later that was great. But, like, Sammy kissed him on the cheek and then MJF kissed him on the cheek. And I was like, if they would have done that, like, half a second earlier, they would have just kissed rival lips on live TV, and it would have been fantastic. But anyway, the whole idea is that Sammy Guevara is going to lay down for MJF.
They would have gotten a Bud Light sponsorship, probably.
I was thinking it. I was like, do I say this? I was somebody's going to say it before me. Thanks, Bill.
So good. That's a great joke. So that leads into Sammy Guevara beating Darby Allin via DQ to win the 4 Pillars tournament final. This was a solid match. There was some fuckery. I loved MJF on commentary. I loved that he was selling his pickles. I actually looked to see because I was like, I'll buy some MJF pickles. They're like $25 a jar, so I'm not buying.
Damn,
fucking
MJF
Mark.
pickles.
You were gonna buy pickles?
I don't know. I mean, my family likes pickles, and if I could, like, they're like $10. I'd order some pickles, but yeah, 25, not for me.
Man,
plus shipping.
I recently introduced the baby to pickles because Aaron buys pickles for sandwiches, and I'm not the biggest pickle guy, but like we didn't have a whole bunch of food the other day. We didn't have any vegetables, so I just put some pickles down. Man, that kid just ate pickles. She was like, more. She was doing the thing. She's like, more. Just asked for it. She put down like 18 pickles in one sitting. Didn't shit for 2 days.
That's awesome.
God damn.
Yeah. It was a rude awakening.
What happened?
Wednesday
what happened
morning.
Whenever she did?
Oh, it was nasty. Just a bunch of pickles and raisins, just whole.
She didn't shoot his shit. This is like, give me more, motherfucker.
If this podcast was more popular, you could have sold them for $25.
Yeah, I know. Have kids, they said. It'll be fun, they said. So the Darby Allin Sammy Guevara match ended in fuckery, and then go ahead.
Yeah, the funny thing was MJF on commentary calling
Tony
Schiavone a fat old prick the whole time, and then whenever the fuckery happened, Tony Schiavone says, "Hey, hold on, you prick! Like, this isn't gonna happen." I thought it was good. I thought it was a good segment, and then we're back to the 4-way, right? Like last week, we were talking about it being a match with Darby Allin and MJF, and that's not going to be the case. It'll be a 4-way, just like we said. So next week there's going to be a tag team match, but essentially it's going to end up in a 4-way, I would assume.
All right. So I saw some people online poo-pooing this and saying, well, it was going to be a 4-way the whole time. Why are they just bringing us on this journey? It's like they're bringing us on this journey because it's professional wrestling. And I like the idea of instead of having the WWE shit where you make it a 4-way match and then you just have a meaningless tag team match between all 4 competitors as the main event, you're going to actually have something on the line. So Darby and Jungle Boy have to beat Sammy and MJF to get into the match. So then you have these 2 rivals that have to be on the same team, but they're working for the same purpose. and not just for pride or for ego, but they're working towards the same purpose to actually get in the match. That's storytelling, baby. So if you guys, if this is something that you don't like, maybe you just don't like wrestling. What do you think, Jason? Do you not like wrestling?
If you speak to you, clearly I don't. I mean, once again, if you look at my fucking Twitter line, it would say something different. That being said, there's negatives and positives both ways. I get both sides. Ultimately, we're getting the match that I want, and how we got there, I don't give a shit. We're getting the match I want. Could you have done it where you've announced it as a 4-way and then built it that way? Yeah. Could you did it this way and now get it a 4-way? Yeah. Very unlikely that Darby and Jungle Boy lose next week. It's can they get along is that trope. I'm not a huge fan of that. We see it too much in WWE, so then it doesn't have the same effect other places that I see it, neither here nor there. And then, I would assume that they will get along. They will win the tag team title or win the tag team match, and then you'll have the fatal 4-way at Double or Nothing.
And then, like, during that match, what happens between Sammy and MJF? You know, are they going to split up at this tenuous
the puppet master?
This tenuous relationship that they have right now, where MJF's giving Sammy the BBB and everything. What do you think about it, Zach?
I mean, I just loved the interactions between Sammy and MJF, and Ty Mello comes out, and Charles was like, "Oh, what's Ty Mello doing?" And MJF's like, "I don't know. She looks real good though."
You don't say.
What
you doing down here, girl? You can't leave now.
They're gonna leave after the fact.
Horny Thursdays.
Like, oh, sorry. He's like, oh, sorry. He's like, the car is full, and like they show, and like the huge SUV is completely empty. So they're like teasing the split, but I just think this would have been. I think they could have elongated it a little bit more. But it's good. I enjoy the storytelling, and like you said, it could have been, a meaningless tag match, and instead we have something on the line, even if the ending is predictable. There's something on the line. So, but moving forward, it gets a little dicey here for me. I was watching, but had a rough work week, so I was in and out on this. But we did have this next segment with Adam Cole calling out Chris Jericho, and Jericho, this is really good. Jericho just basically telling Adam Cole, he's like, you just sat there while we beat up your girlfriend and did nothing, even though it was handcuffed.
Incredible.
I'm shaking my head. I'm like, man, you ain't shit, dog.
Incredible Jericho.
It was the best segment of last week, and then the follow-up was fantastic. And, of course, we get Orange Cassidy and Bandito running out, because that's one thing we didn't mention was Bandito being a good sportsman and putting the belt on Orange Cassidy and them being aligned. And they came out to make the save on Adam Cole. And, of course, they're still overwhelmed because of JAS.
Also, Orange Cassidy and Bandito coming backstage and talking to Renee Paquette. And he's like, you're back here to interview us about the match. She's like, no, actually, I was talking to Jungle Boy and Darby Allin. He's like, oh, and then he walked away, and Bandito walked away with his sunglasses on also.
So good. But, we got the debut of Roddy Strong, and I got to say my favorite part about this was the Killswitch Engage intro. That's the only Killswitch Engage album I've ever owned, and I loved that album in 2004, and I haven't revisited it in a long time. I listened to it today, like in its entirety, and big, strong nostalgic vibes, and very happy for all the Roderick Strong fans, including myself. I don't think he's a game changer or anything, but it is very cool to see him in AEW because he is just another guy who's an excellent wrestler, strong ROH vibes. That's a guy that's like perfect for ROH, and Bobby Fish just punching the air right now.
Roddy Strong is a great addition to AEW, a great addition to Adam Cole's act. Roddy Strong, before Adam Cole had that best 2 out of 3 falls with Johnny Gargano, I would have said that Roddy Strong is the best worker out of Undisputed Era. Still probably up in the air because I've never seen Roddy Strong have a 35-minute match with Johnny Gargano. He probably could have done just as well. He's a fucking incredible worker. I love him. I think this is good for Roddy Strong. It's good for AEW. It's a win-win for both of them. Happy to see him. I'm gonna go check on the baby. You guys keep talking.
Sorry, you guys probably heard. I just realized I forgot to mute myself. I'm flipping my chicken breast in my new Weber grill here. You guys probably heard me.
All right, I mean, damn, dog. Is Weber paying you, motherfucker, or what?
No, it's just they've been paying me in delicious grilled and smoked meats for the last 15 years. Very affordable. Anyway, I'll chill. Come find me, Weber.
Cut his man a check. I mean, damn, he just gave you a fucking endorsement out the ass.
We had Jade Cargill.
Well, hang on. I just wanted to throw this in for 30 seconds.
Oh, I'm
Keith
sorry.
Lee is the person I expected to come out, just because they had made the connection where Adam Cole came down to come in when Keith Lee was getting their work put on him. That's where I thought they were going to go with this. It felt a little off just because it was Orange Cassidy and Bandito making the save.
Yeah, where the hell was Keith Lee?
Okay,
I never even thought about that.
That to me was the biggest, like, the what the fuck moment of this. Roddy
I
Strong
would say
aside.
that's an AEW-ism, right? So, like, I'm a big AEW fan. You guys call me the AEW Mark.
You
That's
are?
an AEW-ism. That's a thing that happens way too often, and it's indicative of this large roster. It happens way too often. You're 100% right. I never even thought about it, and yeah, that should have been Keith Lee.
Oh, even if it's not, you can still do Roddy Strong. But
Yeah, you can still do
Keith
it, but
Lee
he should have
needs
been there.
to be a part of this.
Unless he couldn't be there for some reason. He should have been there. You're
okay,
right.
and that's the only excuse that you have. If he's physically not in the building, then you do what you need to do, and Bandito and Orange Cassidy come into play. But if he's in the building, then he should have been the guy coming out with Roddy Strong. And now you really make, because Keith Lee basically is two guys literally walking down to the ring to help out Adam Cole, baby, and Roddy Strong. So you really didn't need two guys at that point. But
yeah, he's
like
literally two guys. He's Keith and he's Lee.
you right, shit. What's next, you miserable bastard?
Oh man, I got to think about guys with two first names for a whole name. It's funny.
That's fucking horrible.
I'm always suspect on those dudes. Kind of like Bo and Geisman, right?
Mm-mm. I'm about to say, I've never met a Geisman in a first name. Yeah, see, yeah, you was sitting there.
You're lucky.
About to say, you should have jumped in and kicked
I
him.
just put the mic down and you start talking shit. literally just set it down for 4 fucking seconds, and you put my name in your mouth.
He's gonna slap me like Will Smith.
Zero beer.
What did I miss?
Everything was cool until you came back. Zach started talking
I forgot
shit.
to get my beer too.
Okay, good. I'd say QTV was next. I'll skip. I'm sure you didn't even see this part. It was nothing to see. Basically, Powerhouse Hobbs is threatening QT Marshall to get the TNT title back. Neither here nor there. We can skip it to go on to the next segment. Oh yeah, Wardlow beat down some enhancement talent.
Oh yeah, I skipped that because it didn't matter anything.
Yeah,
like, they teased a little
so,
Luchasaurus.
yeah, so is Christian going to be the guy? Because Christian was actually the guy going, like, he was going to be teasing to go in the ring while Luchasaurus was, like, holding down the background, or is it going to be flipped? That was the only thing that, if there was anything from that whole segment, who's really the guy that's going to be facing Wardlow next? Is it going to be Christian or is it going to be Luchasaurus? It doesn't matter either way. Wardlow needs to be spanking whoever it is, who's the next guy up, and then hold this belt for a while. If you're going to build Wardlow up, they're going back to that old formula that worked. Now, will it work again? I don't know, but they're going to at least try it.
Isn't the point of the TNT title, though, that, like, it gets defended on TV every week? Isn't that supposed to be the point? Like,
I guess.
It doesn't have to last that long.
That's how it was
Wardlow.
established.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
You can't have him have it for 3 weeks again and lose it.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I don't.
That's
think
basically where I'm
I don't
going
think
with
that
this.
Christian or Luchasaurus should win it off of them. They're a fine foil for
No,
him.
I think
if they're
Scorpio
gonna build him
Sky
back
should
up.
beat him, and then Wardlow beats him, and then Scorpio Sky beats him, and then Wardlow beats him, and then Scorpio Sky beats him. I think that would be good, and that's like a good 2-month program, like just back and forth 3 times.
Jesus Christ.
I think. You know what? I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Sorry. Jade Cargill defeats Ty Valkyrie to retain the TBS title. I was a little in and out on this match, so I don't know if you guys can speak to the match itself. They've been building up. There's a good program for Jade. I've talked about this the past few weeks. I'm sorry that I didn't get the chance to see it, to speak on it, but this is the most established kind of long-term program we've had for her, and I think that's good for her character. What do you guys think?
It's good for the character. It was a terrible match.
Oof.
Jade Cargill is slow. Let's just say that. She is slow. She is too big to be quick, and there were a couple places during this match, especially at the ending, when there was, I guess there was a stipulation where Tyra Valkyrie was not able to use the finisher.
Mark Sterling's expertise coming into play.
Right, so she wasn't allowed to use the finisher, so she kind of paused for a second, and then there was a really slow roll up. It looked like it was from Tough Enough 3, on week 2 of somebody trying to learn how to do a roll up. It was not good. Shouldn't be on TV.
Damn, that's a strong statement. I'm not gonna go that far. It was not a good match. It wasn't. I didn't think it was nearly as bad as
this is one of
Bill
those,
was saying. It's somewhere in the gray.
This is one of those matches that exposes the business. I don't want to get all Bob Holly on everything, but man,
you just did.
This shit was bad. Really,
I didn't think it was that bad.
It was.
I definitely didn't like the finish. I was just hoping that Ty would just be like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna use my finisher anyway. We gonna get the DQ and you can move on." This doesn't really help anybody ultimately in the long run, and that's kind of the biggest problem.
All right. We had backstage segment, which I did see with Britt Baker and Jimmy Hayter. Britt Baker's got a legitimate shiner, which, I feel bad for her. She's a pretty gal. She didn't get beat up, but that's fortuitous for storytelling.
What are you talking about? You feel bad for her for having a shiner?
Well, you're not supposed. Obviously, it was accidental. Nobody's
she's
been in there.
Pretty girl.
No, I feel bad for
Are you a
anybody
misogynist?
Not intentionally.
He's eating up.
He's like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I feel bad, man. Why you fucking with me?
It's funny how I just made Zach to be the misogynist.
Dude,
when I was just 30 seconds ago. I was like, man, women's wrestling exposed.
I was
like,
going to say,
shit
you
sucks.
bullied him into that fucking confession like you were a goddamn cop. It was horrible to watch, man. Goddamn. Where were you? So you're fucked up, right?
Pretty hot under these lights, huh, Pullman?
Shit. But it is fortuitous, right? Because it makes the storytelling even better. Right? So nobody wants anybody to get hurt, and a black eye hurts. Every one of us probably had a black eye at some point, and that shit sucks.
Hey, Britt Baker, why don't you smile more?
Oh, Jesus.
Hell no.
Talking to her like she's some McDonald's worker.
Somebody said, you don't smile a lot. I'm like, bitch, I'm trying not to kick you in your teeth right now. Fuck you. What do you want to order?
That was fucking hilarious.
There's good stuff. Kenny Omega and Takeshita versus Butcher and Blade. Absolute showcase for Kenny Omega and Takeshita. I almost think I love this Kenny Omega Takeshita team. Never even thought of it before. But, I think it would be so perfect if Kota Ibushi comes back mega jealous that Kenny found a new Japanese, boy toy to team with. And we get, this Golden Lovers, situation with Takeshita and Ibushi.
I mean, that would be great. That would be great.
Would be so good.
I'd love to see Kota Ibushi wherever we can get Kota Ibushi. This match obviously was the Butcher and the Blade being in the main event of Dynamite, you knew it wasn't going to end with that. You knew that it was all to an angle. It ends up with an angle with the Blackpool Combat Club. Takeshita talking Kenny Omega out of taking a cheap shot on Jon Moxley, and then being beat up for all of his efforts, basically, by the Blackpool Combat Club. Blackpool Combat Club looking like a very badass heel faction. Jason, what do you think?
Oh yeah.
Takeshita, God bless him, for all the great things he did in the ring. He reinforces why I love heels more than baby faces, because this was one of the dumbest baby faces moves I've ever seen in my life, and he paid for it with a screwdriver in the head. That being said, Wheeler Yuta is now making himself much more of the slimy heel that I think he's going to really thrive himself in. See Dominic Mysterio. Blackpool Combat Club as a whole is the faction that I kind of wanted them to be, much more violent, much more heelish, especially where Danielson is kind of calling the shots. Moxley's your on-field general, say your quarterback. Cesaro / Claudio is the enforcer, and Wheeler Yuta's the little brother that gets the little kicks in, or in last night's scenario, does the fucking low blow to Takeshita that sets off the screwdriver in the head. Blackpool Combat Club is gonna be the shit. Yeah, it's gonna be the shit. It's gonna be a nice little ride to see where this goes. With Takeshita and Omega, I love the Ibushi fancy booking, but I'm gonna try to stay off of that. I think this is going to come down to Don Callis and how he plays both against each other. I think that's going to be the way they're going to do it if Kota Ibushi's not going to be involved. Somehow, some way, Don Callis is going to be the divider between Kenny Omega and Takeshita.
Are there rumors of Kota Ibushi getting involved, or are we just talking about...
I saw a couple of things online, nothing substantiated, but... where obviously Ibushi is a free agent, Kenny Omega obviously ties. He's kind of flirted about, if I was to go to AEW, this is what I would want, kind of deal. So
I loved it when Bryan Danielson came out and said, I see two men in the ring, one professional wrestler and one amateur who is running out of gas, who made all of his bones in Japan and can't make it over here in the States, or whatever he said. It was very...
shots fired.
It was very, very good. I was like, we have not gotten a real Danielson-Omega one-on-one match, have we?
Yes.
We did?
Yes.
Can we see another one?
Of course.
We need a feud. We got a match, and it was arguably match of the year. We got a match, but we didn't get a feud.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it was not a feud.
It was a Dynamite match.
Right, it was a match.
I think they opened the show with that bitch. I was like, you opening the show with this shit? I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to get hot first, man. I'm supposed to,
that was one of those
settled
things
in.
where we sat on the podcast and talked about how blessed we were.
I still feel blessed
being alive at this time. Even though the world is dying, the world of professional wrestling is thriving.
It's thriving. Yes, that's true. That's true. That's the way that history will remember this. Like 1,000 years from now, they'll be like, oh, when the nukes went off, AEW was popping.
Okay, Ibushi just came back.
They were hotter than Las Vegas at the center of that nuke.
Yeah, right. Is Takeshita part of the Elite now? Is that?
I think he's going to be loosely affiliated. If there is
honorary?
going to be
an
honorary
above
Elite
Brandon
America.
Cutler, but below the rest of them.
Man,
and that's how I think Don Callis
Danielson
gets
was
into
really
play.
cutting down Nakagawa and Cutler, man. He was really knocking them down.
Oh, they're
washing their
perfect
balls
beats,
and shit. I was like,
That's
God
so good.
damn.
I hope they're boys in real life.
If they ain't ever gonna be boys. I'll be like, hey man, what you say? You gonna have to whoop my ass today.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for our 2 counts.
1, 2, 3.
Go ahead.
Hey everybody, the 3 count is Jason Zach and I just recorded a whole segment that was about 30 minutes long where we drafted 10 people. It was a snake draft, and we had lots of jokes. I mean, the whole time we were having a good time, doing a lot of laughing. It would have been a great podcast. But your boy fucked up and didn't notice that it had come unplugged. And I wasn't recording it. So what I'm going to do right now.
I wouldn't go that far.
What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to
Basically, the roadcaster said, "Is it in yet?" And you didn't have an answer.
Absolute fucking bullshit.
Well, I'm glad Jason liked it.
Oh, my God.
Here were the 3 teams. Bill Vagey, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Gunther, Asuka, Finn Balor, Logan Paul, Bobby Lashley, Carmelo Hayes, and Braun Breaker. JCB's team. Bianca Belair, McIntyre, Solo Sikoa, Charlotte, Montez Ford, Austin Theory, Roxanne Perez, Io Shirai, Bronson Reed, and Tiffany Stratton. 3 Beer Zach has Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins. Just an incredible top 4. Dom Mysterio, then it really starts going down. Dominic Mysterio, Becky Lynch, Bayley, AJ Styles, who will never wrestle again, Johnny Gargano, and Alexa Bliss. So, what we're going to ask you to do, we're going to put these lists up on at BFR Pod and Friends of BFR on Facebook, and you get to vote for who could book the best show with the talent that they have. That being said,
holy fuck!
I know the 3 count. I fucked the 3
No,
count
I'm not laughing about that. I'm laughing about the Zach joke about the roadcaster. That shit was mad. Woo!
I mean, really. I mean, what a party we had off mic.
Oh, my God.
This is banned from Ringside.
Hey, everybody, we had some birthdays this week.
We gotta do the Stardom. Let's do the odds and ends.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Odds and ends. Stardom. I forgot.
Two Beard, you saw it. You wanted to talk about it.
Hey, everybody. We got some birthdays this week. Oh, fucking right.
I was about to say, I talked about it. You know, just give me your overall thoughts. We talked about it a little bit beforehand, but let's just kick it off once again. We talked about Chihiro Hashimoto versus Shuri. You give us your thoughts.
All right, so both legit shooters. Shuri was the first Japanese woman to ever get a win in UFC. This match was awesome. Jason described Hashimoto as like the Piper Niven, the new Piper Niven, which made sense. I used the example of Bronson Reed, which was less applicable, but still they beat the shit out of each other, and Shuri won with just a kick to the head, which is fucking phenomenal. I feel like these hard kicks from Stardom don't get enough credit. They're one of the reasons to watch Stardom. Absolutely beautiful. So kicked her in the fucking head. She couldn't get up. TKO. Awesome match. Pretty short too.
Yeah, it was about like 15 minutes, give or take. Let's just go back to the top of the card. Julia Tam, red belt title match. You said it was arguably one of the best matches you've ever seen. Break it down.
One of the best matches I've seen this year. I can describe it for the folks who haven't seen it. Just imagine Tomohiro Ishii and Shingo Takagi fighting each other, but you just want to fuck them a little bit less. It was a phenomenal match. They were sick headbutts. There was open-handed slaps harder than Kenta. There was a snapmare from the top rope through a table to the outside. Just shit that I've never even seen before. This was a main event of the main event.
Sorry. White belt match, Saya Kamatini, Mina Shirakawa.
Yes. So Mina is one of my favorite Stardom wrestlers. she has the best hits in Stardom, and she would definitely thank me for saying that because she's all about them too. Arguably most improved wrestler in Stardom. They were talking about that on commentary. This was all ring psychology. They were working on the leg. Mina has just learned the figure four. She was doing the Bret Hart figure four on the leg post. The whole match was about whether or not, she could hit the Phoenix Splash. The champion could hit the Phoenix Splash off the top rope. And she did. It still did not finish the match. Yeah, shout out to Phoenix Splash Podcast where they talk about this in more depth. But phenomenal match. This was like the beginning of where this show really got good.
Mercedes and Maya Iwatani.
Oh yeah, not terribly long, but man, absolutely fantastic match. Just maybe the best Mercedes Moné match that we've seen, arguably. Just one-on-one with the GOAT of Joshi wrestling, Mayu Iwatani. Just back and forth, big moves. I think it was less than 15, more than 10, I would assume. But
13.
Yeah, that sounds right. Just fast-paced and lots of near falls. And Mercedes lost, and Mayu won with a beautiful belt. And it looks like Moné is asking for one more match before she leaves Japan. So we'll see how that goes.
I believe there'll be the 21st of May resurgence, Long Beach. Any other Stardom thoughts that you want to throw out there before we get made fun of here in the next 2 minutes?
Himeka versus Micah was great. Just a very heavy storytelling match because Himeka's only 25, but she's retiring because of all of you fuckers on Twitter. So probably not a ton listening to this podcast, but the Japanese IWC is forcing her to retire, which is a much better scenario than some of the Joshi wrestlers that we see where, we've had suicides in the past thanks to all the fucking internet trolls. So just calm down on the fucking keyboard warrior situations. Himeka's great, and it's sad to see her go, especially in this scenario where she has a great career in front of her, but she's leaving for her own mental health because people just can't be fucking people. But she wrestled her longtime tag team partner in Micah, and they had a fucking excellent match. And Micah went over on her retirement match. So, yeah, just an excellent show. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. This is one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. We're only in late April, but this will be a short list for pay-per-view of the year for me.
When I asked Zach if he wanted to do a wrestling podcast, he was like, well, I haven't watched wrestling in a couple of years. And I was like, well, that's all right. Like, whenever we talk about it, it's cool. So, like, you'll work. I was like, you'll be good at podcasting. That's why I reached out to Zach to be on this podcast. And he didn't watch any wrestling at all. And then he kind of got into WWE. And then this dude just riffed for fucking, I don't know, 4 hours about Stardom wrestling. Like, just really in-depth shit. And I'm looking around like, people look at me like I know a lot about wrestling. Zach knows more.
It's not a contest. Jason watches more than all of us.
Jason has no life.
That was eloquent, Zach. I was looking around impressed.
Say, I'm happy that you watched it. I'm glad you liked it, and
I mean,
well, I appreciate the subscription.
It makes me, but it makes me want to watch it. But like, it makes me want to watch it with Zach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
damn, what the fuck? You want to watch it with this motherfucker that's 2 hours away, but you can't watch it when I'm 39 minutes away? That's some fucked up shit.
Well, I see you all the time. I never see him.
Wow.
I didn't see him. I didn't see him last time he came back in town.
Hang on.
Absolute fucking bullshit.
Oh.
Unprofessional bullshit.
That's it. That's it. I'm good on that. That's some fucked up shit.
Listen, okay. This is a real therapy
You got to
session.
make amends.
This is a real therapy session.
Right?
Now.
I'm over here a
Jason,
broken man.
I love you.
I love you too.
How much more do I have to prove my love to you?
This is Stone from Ringside.
You got to get a Steelers tattoo tomorrow.
No, that's no. God forbid he'll start betting on my boys. They'll start going south. It'll be hell to pay.
When I'm trying to put the baby to bed and you come in, it's always around the same time, and I'm like, hey, come on back. And she always looks at you and she smiles and she runs over to you, and it's like, yeah, you're family, dude. You're allowed into my house anytime you want.
You said, "Well, in my house anytime you want."
Bo don't have a key.
I don't have a key.
No, I wouldn't give it to either one of you.
You know better.
I'm just saying, Bo doesn't either.
Just say they gone. Yeah, no shit. That's one less
Jason has
fucking
a key to Bill's heart, and it's shaped like a New Japan World subscription.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week. We got Vladimir Kozlov is 44. Vladimir Kozlov is only a year older. I mean, my age.
Jesus Christ.
Basically. Alex Riley, you remember him? 42.
Oh, A-Rye himself.
Drew Gulak is 36. Titus O'Neil is 46. Jay Lethal, 38.
What?
Feels like he's
Going on 50.
Feels like he's like 45, right?
Jesus Christ, he's 38.
Big Boss Man would have been 60. The Rock.
Still on my Mount Rushmore. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah, you can have him. He's 51.
Kiss my ass.
Willie McGee. And Stu Hart, God bless his soul, he has passed away. The late Stu Hart. Oh, he's still alive? Oh, then he's 108.
No, obviously, rest in peace, Stu Hart. What's the Ricky? Never mind. Willie McGee I didn't get, but go ahead.
Because The Rock's 51. 51 is Willie McGee. Yeah. Hey, everybody. We know there's a lot of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast.
Woo.
For Tinder Mahal,
Check.
for Murray the Murray Man Murray,
Check.
for Lucha Chris, for
Double check.
Patriot Pat, for their
Check.
podcast that they never do anymore.
Check.
For
Sideways
Bo
of time.
Geisman,
Check.
for Xander the Cat, for
Check.
Reba the Dog,
Check.
for 2 Beer Zach
Three beer.
Coleman, 3 Beer
Three
Zach
beer Zach
Coleman,
Coleman. Check.
for John Wick 4,
Check.
for Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa,
I am
bitches.
Bill Vegas.
Check.
Never ever forget to boo the heels.
Ooh, bitch.
There's something we're forgetting about. I know there is. Oh, you know what?
Great pod.
I'm going to take, that's a good point, Bo. I'm going to take Carmelo Hayes. And so it goes back to Jason.
I'm assuming this is my last pick, correct?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, your last pick.
Let's do a woman for the last pick. We'll keep this nice and balanced. Yeah, right.
What did he say?
Rosa Parks.
Jesus Christ.
Let's go Tiffany Stratton on the for Roxanne Perez. No, she caught me on she's on my radar a little bit. She might be a reason to watch NXT going forward. But yeah, I saw a couple of highlights.
All right, so my last pick is between 2 NXT guys, because even though nobody's picked Sheamus, I don't want him on my show because I'm not doing a 2018 Raw, so I'm gonna bring in somebody else. Now it's one of 2 NXT guys, but I am going to take Breaker.
Shit, excuse me. Now, see, that was more so in the mic.
That was less in the mic than the last time.
How's that? Jesus Christ.
And then 3 Beer Zach. 3 Beer Zach. You got one more pick. I mean, you can say whatever you want right now because nobody has any more picks. Alexa Bliss is your last pick? Okay, so here are the teams. Now, this is just trying to make the best TV show that you can, right? So, Bill has Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Gunther. Pretty good top 4. Asuka, Finn Balor. That's your burgers section. You got Logan Paul and Bobby Lashley, who I'd pay money to watch those guys have a match. Actually, that sounds like a really fun match. Actually, Logan Paul versus Lashley.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it would.
It happened in Saudi Arabia.
And then
what the fuck?
And then I got Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker, who are currently doing a pretty successful double turn on NXT. And it's fun to watch double turns. Doesn't happen very often, but it's happening right now, and it's pretty cool. JCB's picks are... So, I had Hayes and Breaker at the end. JCB's picks are Bianca Belair, McIntyre, Solo Sikoa. I would watch those guys have a hard-hitting fight. Charlotte, Montez Ford. I would watch those two have a wrestling match also. Austin Theory, Roxanne Perez, Io Shirai, Bronson Reed, and Tiffany Stratton. So Jason has 5 chicks. Yeah. Jason has 5 chicks. Jason's making
a wrestling show.
The wrestling show. 3 Beer Zach has Sami Zayn and KO as his 1-2. Motherfucker. Brock Lesnar is his 3 and Seth Rollins is his 4. Now, that's about as good as you can pick it. Dominic Mysterio, Becky Lynch, Bayley, AJ Styles, Gargano, and then Alexa Bliss. An inexplicable last pick.
Let that man live.
Hey,
No. I mean, there's so many other people to take.
Can I
take Alexa Bliss?
Can I pick 4 who haven't been picked yet?
Yes, please. Say your name.
Hey, it's Vice. I'm speaking into the mic. Merman need a dick. I saw it.
And who were the 4?
Oh, damn.
All right.
You too?
So my 4 that I could take of people who haven't even been picked.
Yeah.
After all you guys already went.
Sheamus.
I wouldn't even start there. Paulo Cruz.
Fair.
I love him.
Big E.
He's almost dead.
Yeah, he'll be back.
I think Xavier Woods might sneak his way into that tournament. I mean, he'll probably lose in the first round.
Butch.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like Butch, but
what's the guy?
Yeah,
what's the guy? What's the guy
Butch
from?
slash Pete Dunne. Yeah.
Pete Dunne,
No,
Tyler Bate,
What's the?
Gunther.
No, the idiot from.
I mean,
the guy with what's
listen,
his name?
I love Chad
with Dominic
Gable.
and Rhea Ripley.
But I'm trying to make the
Damian Priest.
best show.
Nobody took him. Damian
I
Priest.
love Chad Gable.
Damian Priest by 4.
Listen, if this was like an indie wrestling show or just like a pay-per-view of matches I'd want to see, Chad Gable would be in there. Probably Chad Gable versus Gunther. No.
Damn.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, Carmella?
No, she's just hot.
No, yeah, she is.
Say nobody's picking her. I mean, it's just say, let's appreciate the WWE.
I mean,
Look at the
can you
picture.
imagine Chad Gable versus Gunther? I mean, that sounds fucking badass, right? Anyway, we are going to put these lists up on BFR Pod on Twitter and Friends of BFR on Facebook.
That should have been your number 1 pick.
Oh, Omos?
Since you're talking about all that tall grass
Fuck, I
bullshit.
forgot about Omos.
Yeah,
God damn.
Talking that tall grass bullshit. I'm a homo sapien. I'm a homo sapien. It's time for the WWE draft. He can't even get in my top 10, but I love me some homos. Here's 2 beer. But you know what? Now I'm starting to come around too. You guys, you know what? This starts to make some sense. You guys, you talked me into it. God damn it, Bill, you talked me into it. Not only are we married by marriage, you're married by
white guy
homos
voice.
as well. God damn it, I'm a homo sapien too, you fucking idiots. God damn Mars.
The white guy voice is hilarious.
Unreal. Sweaty pics. And your boy, almost can't even get on either one of y'all shows. Man, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear y'all talk about almost in a glowing fashion ever again in life.
He's called him
Ever.
almost.
EVA.
Put
Ever.
Omos in the G1.
Oh, God, no. My head might explode.
Man, put everybody in the G1.
What's wrong with Jason? He hasn't showed up to the Band for Ringside podcast in 3 weeks. You might see him dead
Like,
after that.
there's nobody that I wouldn't want to see in the G1, though. Like, that's how much I like the G1. It's like, it forces them to have 9 different matches over, like, a month and a half. It's so fucking cool. I want to see everybody in it. Like, literally everybody.
Dude.
I want to see Jonathan Coachman in the G1.
What did Jonathan Coachman do to you?
You read that story about when Jonathan Coachman was... Who was the guy that blew the green... Tajiri. Jonathan Coachman was supposed to have a match with Tajiri. I heard Coachman tell this story on a podcast. And they were supposed to... It was like a pre-show thing or something.
Dark match.
Coachman versus Tajiri. And Coachman comes up to Tajiri and he's like, hey man, I don't care what you do, you just gotta let me get my shit in. And Tajiri looks at him and goes, you have shit? Because Coachman didn't know how to wrestle at all.
Just let me do my 3 moves and then at that point, beat my ass.
Probably funnier when Coachman tells it.
I hope so.
Ooh, damn.
All right, so this is where you guys can talk about Stardom all you want to. Go ahead.
3 Beer, this is you, man.
It's your guys' podcast.
It's our podcast, but we can sidebar for like 5 minutes. I already talked about it. 2 Beer, what did you think about it? I mean, shit. Give me your perspective on it.
I mean, this was legitimately one of my favorite shows I've watched this year. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because, you know, there was some fun undercard stuff. We don't necessarily have to, like...
No, we can talk title matches. I mean, let's talk about, you know, real shit. Let's talk about the one non-title match that I think has some importance to it. Chihiro Hashimoto versus Shuri. That's the one that has no title involvement, but it was kind of late in the card. We can start there.
Yeah, late in the card, and deservedly so. This match is brutal as fuck. I mean, Shuri's like a legit shooter. What was I forget Japanese, and I have a hard time. Even though I'm on my day 414 of Duolingo, what was her computer's name? Hashimoto. Yeah. So they beat the shit out of each other. And like start to finish, they're both shooters. Like Shuri was the first Japanese woman to ever win a UFC match. FYI, Mark. But I love Shuri. And Hashimoto, I was less familiar with. I've seen a lot of Shuri matches, and I do watch Stardom, and I've seen very little of Hashimoto. But man, they
Sentai girls.
Hashimoto's a big. Imagine like Bronson Reed. That's Hashimoto.
I was thinking more Piper Niven, but neither here nor there. Just actually,
Piper Niven and, yeah,
well, she was actually over there, so it makes sense.
Bo is jerking off the more you guys talk like that. So take it easy.
No, man, you guys guys will be okay. Hey, talk about whomever you need to amongst yourselves. Well, I'm sorry.
But Shuri's fucking head for a TKO, and I love that about Stardom. The hard kick is one thing that I think Stardom doesn't get enough credit for. Brutal. Very fun match. Fun match.
Red belt match, Julia Tam. We'll just keep it quick.
So for you guys to see it, imagine Shingo versus Ishii, but you want to fuck the participants in a little bit.
That's so stupid.
White belt, Saya Kamatini. He's silly as fuck.
He's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, he's just absolutely silly. White belt, Saya Kamatini and Mina Shirakawa. Mina wins. Thoughts on the match?
Imagine Shingo versus Ishii, but you want to fuck them a little bit less.
She probably would.
Oh.
All about psychology. They work the legs.
Hold on. Hold on a second.